Hey folks, I'm here today to talk about being a better informed investor in vintage baseball cards. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about investing in PSA graded cards. Now, this doesn't apply necessarily to Beckett cards or SGC, and I'll show you why in a second. But if you're investing in these vintage baseball cards, you want to be an educated investor. You want to know what the prices are. I track these prices like stock market prices actually, and I'm going to show you a very quick and easy tool that will actually help you get the best prices for cards. Now, many of you are familiar with vintage card prices. It's a subscription service that costs about $17 a month that will tell you what the current price of some of these vintage cards is. And I believe they do go through Beckett and SGC. But I don't collect those cards. I'm really focusing on PSA graded cards. So this is something that I use instead that is free and really is helpful to me. So first I'm going to start off by just showing you the wide variety in prices. Here I'm on eBay looking for a 1967 Mantle in a PSA 5 grade. Now you can see prices are all over the place. The cheapest one we've got here for PSA 5 is $175. And if we go down the list here, we've got maybe almost a dozen cards with someone is trying to sell one for about $250. So that's an incredibly big spread. Now, we want to know, actually, is this $175, is this really the best deal that's out there? So what we're going to do is we're going to do something I call tracking the price. We're going to look at it over the entire year and come up with an average price for what this card should be selling for right now, what the actual value is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to PSA's website, psacard.com, and go to the section Auction Prices Realized. I'm going to go in here and put in a 1967 Mickey Mantle. Okay, here it is, card number 150. Now, I'm interested in a PSA 5 grade, so I'm going to go up here and select a 5. Now, this is going to give me a list of all the auction sales. Right now we're in October 2018, of all the auction sales in 2018. All right. Now, what I need to do is I need to average these prices out and determine what is the current market value of this card. So the easiest way I know of to do that is to create a spreadsheet. Now, many of you are familiar with Microsoft Excel. I don't have Excel on this computer. It's now a subscription-based service. So I use something from Google that's called Google Sheets. So I'll show you that right now. If you go to the Google web page, you go to the Apps section, you go to More, you go to Even More, you're going to come up with a list of all the Google apps. Okay, after it loads, we're going to scroll down, quite a bit down actually, to an app under the Work Smarter section called Sheets. Okay, so we'll get started with that. Use it on the web. You need to have a Google account, which I do, so this should pop up right away. And I'm going to make a blank spreadsheet. Now, what's nice about Google Sheets is it works exactly like a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. The same formulas and techniques that you use in Excel, I believe, work here. At least I found them to work. So let's just go right to it. What we're going to do is we're going to go into this Mickey Mantle 67 PSA 5. We're going to highlight all the card sales from 2018. There's quite a few. Okay, here's the first one. The one where it sold for $189.99. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this section. So you can either hit Control-C or you could right-click and hit Copy. Then we're going to go into the spreadsheet. Now, I'll show you a little trick. PSA Card just did a feature where they show an actual picture of the card right here. So you can make sure this is actually a PSA 5 67 Mantle. But when they did that, it really throws off your formatting. If I go in here and try to paste, everything comes up in this one column. And for me, that's unusable. I'm not really going to be able to tabulate that very easily. This is incredibly time consuming. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to do something called Paste Special, and I'm going to paste the values only. What that does is it leaves this left column completely blank. That's where the picture would go. So if I look at this data right here, this is going to give me all the auctions from 2018. And right now there are 53 of them. So I've got to clean up this data just a little bit. What I'm going to do first is I don't want to consider cards that have a qualifier. In this case, this card was miscut. So let's get rid of that one. We're going to delete that row. And that's it. Actually, that's pretty good. Now, one observation I had, you may see this as well, is that you'll see when you look at these prices that certain auction companies tend to sell for higher prices. PWCC is one that I see quite a bit, that generally their prices are going to sell higher than average. Probstein 123, I would say the same thing for them, but not always. Your experience is going to vary. I think 707 probably as well, you'd see that. But what we're going to do now is we're going to do the average of these card sales. So we're going to put in a very simple formula that you get from Excel. We're going to go into any cell you want. I could go anywhere, but I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to do equals. I'm going to do sum, open parentheses. Now I'm going to go to the first cell that I want to consider, which is cell C2. C2, I'm going to do colon. That's going to give me the range down to C53. I'm going to close the parentheses. And then I'm going to divide by the number of auctions that there were this year, so that's 52. Not 53 because I'm starting on the second row. Okay, so let me highlight this so it's a little bit easier to see. So we can see that in 2018, the average sale price of the Mickey Mantle PSA 5 1967 card is $163.59. All right, so let's just go right back to eBay real quick. We can see here that every single one of these cards is selling for more than $163. In some cases, quite a bit more. This information may be helpful to you because some of these folks have a best offer. So this person right here selling it for $180, you might be able to make a best offer in the $163 range. Or what I like to do is look at current auctions. Let's see what's going on now. So here's someone here that's the only auction on the card currently that's selling the card at an opening bid of $159.95. That's actually below what the current average price is for that card. So that's actually not a bad deal. That's good information to have. I'll go back here one more time and look at, I was talking just a minute ago about PWCC. What I'm going to do is highlight the PWCC auctions right now. Okay, just to show you what I was talking about earlier, how some of the auction companies tend to have higher prices. Remember, our average sale price is $163, almost $164. So here's PWCC 171. Probstein had this auction actually well below the average sale price. Here's another one, 145, 707, 200. All of these sales are over the average sale price, and this one is as well. So actually, in this case, you got some pretty good deals from Probstein. And if you look here, again, the average sale price, $163. That's dropping a little bit the last couple auctions, but you can see there's some pretty good deals out there. Somebody got a good deal at $135, $139, in the $140 range, right through here, $120. And I think the cheapest price of the entire year was $100 back in February. So this will help you determine what the lowest prices are, so you can kind of figure out where a best offer might be or where an auction is at a really good price. Now, when I do a spreadsheet like this, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get rid of all this other stuff. I don't need it. It just kind of gets in the way. Because what I would typically do is, if I'm looking at maybe a grade 6 or 7, I would put that data right here as well. Now, one more thing before we go away from this. One of the more powerful tools that I like to use is I like to compare the price of the auctions over time. So I'm going to do the exact same thing for 2017. I'm not going to show you all the steps, but I'm going to compress it down a little bit right now. So let's go back to 2017. So here's all the data from 2017. We're going to pop it into our spreadsheet here. We're going to paste special, and remember, we're pasting the values only. Okay, so here's all of our auctions from 2017. Okay, so again, we got to go through, and I'll just cut this, I'll go through quickly. I'm going to take out the qualified grades. Okay, so now I'm going to go through and I'm going to do a formula to determine the average for 2017. So it's the same as we did before. Sum equals sum C56 colon C108, which is the range, and then divided by 53 sales. And that's giving us 133.21. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put 133.21 up here. I'm going to delete all this data because I don't need to track this anymore. This just adds a lot of stuff to the spreadsheet that I don't need. I'm going to go over here. We're going to add 133.21. Okay, so I've cleaned this up a little bit here, and I know our average from 2017 is 133.21, and then our average from 2018 is 163.59. So it looks like the value of this card is definitely climbing. Let's do a formula now to see what percentage increase the Mickey Mantle card has had. So again, that's another formula. We're going to do equals sum. We're going to do the one cell divided by the other. So C54 divided into C56. That's going to divide both of those numbers into each other. And you'll see here that we've got a 22.8% increase in the value of this card from last year. It's a pretty healthy increase. A lot of cards that I've been tracking only go up maybe 10%, 15% at the most. So I would say that the 1967 Mantle and a PSA 5 is a pretty strong buy right now, especially if you can find something under this $163.59 price. I would definitely consider it if you're a Mantle fan. Okay, so let's do one more example, and this time we're going to use Nolan Ryan. Nolan Ryan is I find the second hottest card right now in terms of value. So let's go to something a little bit higher in value, more of a collector grade. And we're going to look at the Nolan Ryan rookie card. Now, this time I'm going to look at a PSA 8, very high grade card that most of us cannot afford. But some of you may be in the market for just that one special card, so I think it's worthwhile taking a look at. Okay, so this card has been selling in the $3,000 range. So we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to put this data into a spreadsheet. And I'm going to rename it. I'm going to put 1968 Ryan, just to keep things separate. Okay, so let's go over here to auction prices realized. We're going to highlight all of the sales from 2018. Copy that. Now we're going to paste it in here. Again, paste, special, paste values only. Okay. Now, wow, one of the problems that we're going to have here that's going to take quite a bit of time to clean up is that so many of these auctions were for cards with a qualifying grade, cards that have a mark, miscut, off-center, you name it. So I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to clean this up. Okay, I've gone ahead and cleaned up the data. I've gotten rid of all the qualified grades, and I've got the range here. So it appears that there was 29 auction sales so far this year for PSA 8 grade Nolan Ryan rookie. So let's put in the formula, see what the average grade is. So it's going to be C2 is our first cell, all the way down to C30. Close parentheses, divided by 29 auction sales. Gives us $3,280. Okay. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing for 2017. Okay, I've got this data cleaned up, and there's a couple things here that I wanted to point out that are really important. You really should go over the data to see if it makes sense to you. See if there's any outliers in the data. Now, I've identified one right here in this cell. It appears the card's selling for in the $3,000 range, yet we have a sale here for $968. So let's go back to the PSA page and see if we can figure out what that was from. Now, the date on that is August the 19th. Okay, so here's the sale right here. Let's take a look at the picture. Okay, this is a PSA 7. So obviously PSA goofed on this one. That doesn't belong in there. So we're going to go ahead and take that one out. That will really mess up your data. Okay, on the other side, we've got one here for $12,000. Now that seems kind of odd. Why would someone pay almost 4 times what the going rate is? That was on January 19th. So let's go look at that. There it is, $12,000. Let's take a look. Okay, you can see here this is a Milton Bradley card. So again, I want to compare apples to apples. That's not what we're looking for. We're not looking for a Milton Bradley card. So that card's going to come out. One other way that you can check this out is at the bottom of the PSA auction prices realized, you'll see this show price chart. So we'll click on that. Okay, you can see here's the $900 sale, and here's the $12,000 sale. So those popped out really easily. This graph is also very helpful to see price trends and where things are going. It looks like things are a little bit flat, but we're going to actually check the numbers to be sure. So let's go do that right now. Okay, so we're going to enter the formula equals sum C34 colon C96 close parenthesis divided by 63 sales. That gives us $3,386.72. We're going to take that number, I'm going to put it right here. We're going to delete this. We don't need it anymore. Okay, we're going to format this as currency. Let's highlight it. Let's label it. Well, we can see the number is actually less this year, but let's go ahead and do the formula to see what percent less it might be. So it's going to be C31 divided by C33. Okay, and then what I'm going to do here, I'm going to highlight this and I'm going to format it at number and percent. So it's 96%. So you can see here it's about 3.15% down this year. So it's negative 3.15%. So if you're looking to invest in a high-grade Ryan card, you want to be aware that the value of this card is dropping a little bit, so you might want to hold off. Okay, so let's go to eBay right now just for the heck of it to see what these cards are selling for on eBay. The average price this year is basically $3,300. So if we go up here, we start with lower. Okay, of course, we're going to see these qualified grades, miscut, OC. We want to get rid of these. We're not interested in those. We want to see a straight grade. Okay. So the first one we've got is an auction that's going on now for $1,075. Okay, so that's something you might want to keep an eye on. Here's another OC, qualifier. Okay, here's the first straight PSA 8, $3,250. Now again, the price this year, $3,280, almost $3,300. So this is actually not a bad deal because it's actually technically under what the average price is. But if you keep going, you will see that some people are trying to sell the same card for $8,000, $7,200, $6,000. They're hoping to cash in on people who are not informed or educated about what the prices are. Again, the price is $3,280 this year. So these cards are way, way overpriced. But you might actually find a deal somewhere up in here. And then this auction that's going on now, if we look at the cards that are on auction, there's only one. This card may sell for well under $3,300. It's got 5 days left, so it might be a good deal there too. Well, hey folks, I was about to end this video when I thought of a couple things that might help you. This is my own personal spreadsheet where I track a bunch of different cards. I'm looking right now at the 1965 Joe Morgan card in 3 different grades. What I want to show you is how to update your spreadsheet in real time as auctions happen after you've finished up your initial spreadsheet. So right here, my last day that I've got an auction was 7/22. That was a few months ago. I want to actually add 3 more auctions that have happened since then. So what I'm going to do, I need to make room here, so I'm going to do a cut and paste job. I'm going to highlight this entire set of data. I'm going to do Control X or right click and cut. And then I'm going to move down to the 4th space, and then I'm going to hit paste. Now this is going to give me 3 new lines that I can enter data because there's been 3 auctions since I last did the spreadsheet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this data, I'm going to go to my spreadsheet, and then I'm just going to hit paste. Now I've added these 3 auctions in, and I just have to update here that I'm going to put some new cells in. I'm going to start at C2, and I added 3. So from 29, I've added 3 more auctions. I got 32 auctions. So that's the new average market price, and then it'll update the percent automatically. So that data actually is up to date, at least as far as what the PSA has. Now I'll be the first to admit that this is pretty time consuming, at least initially to set up. For the cards I'm interested in, I will check this every week or so and then update the prices as necessary. It's helpful for me because I'm just looking for a few cards to pick up. I'm not looking to pick up dozens of different cards. If I was, a subscription to vintage prices would probably make the most sense. But for me, this is a free and easy way to keep track of the prices. Now I got one more tip to show you. This spreadsheet here is tracking the 1968 Tom Seaver card in 3 different grades. Now the yellow price here is actually a card that I bought back a few months ago. What I'm going to show you how to do now is to track whether the card has gone up or down in value, so you have a real-time percent increase or decrease of your investment. So I'm going to go to a nearby cell and I'm going to enter the following formula. I'm going to do equals, sum, parentheses. I'm going to do the value of what the average is. And I want to find the difference between the average price and the price that I paid, which was $171.99. That'll give me the difference. And then I'm going to divide that into the average price of the card for the year, the first value. So that's telling me that the card has gone down in value 6.38%. Now, as I update my spreadsheet all along the way, that number is going to adjust up or down depending on what the average price of the card is as it goes up or down. If you have any questions at all, or you want to offer any tips, things that I missed, please drop those in the comments below. I really appreciate those kind of comments and conversation. I'm also going to drop a couple of links to other vintage baseball card videos that I have right after this. Thanks again for watching. Bye.